Of course, we need to remember when working with our temperaments, we say that it's not intended to what, to pigeonhole. That it's used as a means of moving from an exclusion or a misunderstanding to acceptance or what, cooperation. Sorry.
Because of your personality, you don't need to hide in that.
Yeah, we say, well, that's why we've said you don't need to look at a person's temperament to be now a point of view breaking up. Rather, it should be a point of view now moving close to that person and understand who they are,
And
how you can deal with them. It also gives you a chance of understanding yourself and then try to relate well with others. We're going to look at a situation whereby when you realize yourself and you realize your weakness, you are always going to try hard to work on those weaknesses, such that by the time they get to know you, the next time, those weaknesses are what? At least they've changed. Because you want to fit among what others what? Need. You get it? Then we say that all these four temperaments are absolutely necessary in the world at large. We said we may need a phlegmatic person, we may need a choleric person, we may need a sanguine, we may need a melancholic person. Just look at a scenario when the whole world is seated silent. No one is cracking jokes. No one is straight to what needs to be followed. No one is free to socialize with anyone. And then no one is having a moment of taking that critical analysis about a situation. How would the world be? You can try to relate, and then you get to love the way God created us, and we appreciate that we were wonderfully and fearfully what? Made. Even our God himself, he shared all these moments. An assignment I'm giving out to us all. Write 2 scenarios when God proved to, let's assign an assignment. Write 2 scenarios. Write 2 scenarios when God acted as a choleric, as a phlegmatic, as a sanguine, and as a melancholic person. So, in that, we're going to, when we continue, we're going to see that our temperaments could be affected by what? By trauma. Then, our temperaments can still be affected by our upbringing. That is, the culture, the family, friends, schooling can also affect our what? Our temperaments. Then, what we need to understand is that do not change your temperament. You may not be able, because you said you cannot change your temperament, but you can modify it to suit a given what? Situation. Each temperament has its strength and struggles. Those are weaknesses. We need to understand that. Each temperament has its strength and its what? Struggles. But the key to success with your temperament is the balanced expression of your strength and a healthy what? Awareness of your struggles. When you understand your weakness, then just know, how can I healthfully use my weakness to create meaning to others? Then, my strength, if I get to know it, how can I use it now to be a bridging up between me, God, and the people I relate with? We get? Those are some of the things that we need now to do what? To consider. To remember when we are talking about these temperaments. I said we are talking about them in brief, but in details, you can get to learn about them. I'll share with you some PDF that can give you a guideline. You can actually get along to print and bind in temperaments and what? And the biblical view, the biblical view of temperaments. How you can get to understand, because here we make slides, but to just give in our short details. But you can take time and read to understand. Now we go to temperaments. The first one we are beginning with is the powerful what? Choleric. The powerful choleric. I don't know whether you can clearly see that. Some are seen. We are ending our lesson at, they told me at noon. Is it? That's what they told me. So, what the powerful choleric has traits that define him. Then he has his struggles, and then he has the what? The strengths. The traits are what basically can define immediately when a person sees you, or when the person gets to realize how you interact. Then your struggles are like your weaknesses. Then your strength is what are you good at? What can you perform best than the others? We get. Before we even get to that, when we are to talk about the cholerics, what are some of the things that they can get along to do, and you say that, yeah, this person is a choleric? Or we are learning new things. We are learning new things, eh? Okay, if it's a class and we came to learn, then let us learn completely. So traits of a choleric person. In Luganda, these guys are called Bawampologoma. In Luganda, when you define a powerful, like an animal that was used to relate to these people, the what? The lions, eh? Bawampologoma. These guys, they feel they can rule over someone, and they have that desire or action instinct in terms of what they are doing. When you look at them, their traits is that this person who is choleric, he decides through sight and intuition. Through sight and intuition. I think now we understand when we talk about intuition. That guy is spontaneous. For him, his decision can just come out and say, I want this. I don't think about it a lot. I want this. I've seen this and now I want this. We get. That is a powerful what? Choleric. Looks at big picture. He sees things broad, like in a big picture. Are we together? Then he is an extrovert. Cholerics are most times extroverts. If cholerics If you're a choleric and choleric is your primary what? Trait. Your primary temperament. These guys are extroverts. They are unemotional. And what? Unemotional. Why? Why do you think they are unemotional?
Because they want to drive their point. They want to create impact. They are not always affected with what is around them so much. Okay, like because here he's saying a choleric personalities are driven and motivated individuals. They strive for excellence and have a strong need to make an impact. This ambition makes them successful at what they do. Yet they often come off as arrogant and overbearing to those around them.
So for them, because they are unemotional, they will never think of what other people feel. They know I've spoken. Why it makes you happy? Why it makes you sad? None of my business. I want my point driven home. Pick the chair and move out of the class. That's what they want. They don't want to know that the other class members will feel sad for you. They say, I'll move out. Point blank. So these guys, because of that, they tend to be ignorant in most cases. So they are always goal or result or action oriented. They always have something that they are targeting at. They want this one to be achieved and they will always ensure that it is what? Achieved. Why? Because they have a routine they are going to follow. They will say, I want this to be achieved. Say they want to reach a certain destination. They will tell you, we are going to use this route. We are going to move for 40 minutes from this point up to this point. When we reach this point, we have to take a border of, say, 2K. They'll have to streamline on that and they'll need to follow it. So they are goal, result, or action oriented. And in that, they are always risk takers. You know when you do, what is a risk? At least most of us have done some business stuff. What is a risk? Mark, define a risk.
If I die.
A risk, we don't have a normal risk and an abnormal risk. A risk is a risk.
Anything will cause harm.
Cause harm or?
You make a decision saying that if it works, it will be for the best. If it fails,
it's also the same.
Yes.
So a risk can either be good or what?
Bad.
Or bad.
If it is successful, you shoot high. But if it fails, you come down completely.
So these guys are always risk takers. They know engaging in this thing, it is either going to work out or it may fail. But if it works out, well and good. If it fails, I'll go to plan B. You get? So for them, a lion, why we can take a scenario of a lion. A lion can aim at getting an antelope and it will run after it. If it gets it, that's meat for that day. If it fails, it will now get somewhere again to sit and think, how am I able to get this antelope again? We together, eh?
What about there was a picture of something, a leopard, It was running after a bird which was running on the ground, Then when it's almost coming to the edge of the river, the bird started flying. But the leopard was also jumping so that it can get the bird. But at the end of the day, remember it's already high and he was going to fall in the water now. I don't know how. Can it be that?
Yeah, that can also clearly bring out what we can what we're trying to mean, because for them they are always they have a certain goal, but it has now taken a risk, like the leopard took a risk of running after the bird, but the end result was not okay. It never got
It never got the bird.
so it was now a risk taker.
And the best the leopard was landing on was in the water.
Yeah. So we can continue up and say that these guys have like rules were made to be broken. Rules were made to be broken mentality. Like they have that mentality that rules were made to be broken.
It can't be that.
It cannot be constant. Those are the choleric people. They know.
And they listen even breaking what was said. So that they can get what they want, or the point they want.
So those guys have that mentality. Rules were made to be what? To be broken. They can never stick on a rule. Yeah, we shall see which kind of people are rule oriented. So these guys are very time conscious. You've told them you're studying for 40 minutes and then you exceed. Man, they will even leave class. Because they are time what? Conscious. They need to stick on your plan. Then they are future oriented. That is another thing, that because they have big pictures, they look at big pictures, then they tend to be visioned. They have big visions of what they want to do.
They always have the vision of what they want in their mind.
Yes. Then they are quick at thinking. They are quick at what? Thinking. And they are outspoken. When a choleric person stands up to speak, toina kyomugamba, will always speak and say, kino kyenjagala kinakwera bwekiti. I thank God. That is just a secondary trait. I cannot do what? I don't always like cholerics. I don't always like them just because they have that aspect. When I speak, I speak. When I speak, do not say anything. But along the way I've got, I didn't like them, but I've now got to learn that I need to like every person because of who they are. Because at one moment I know I have to behave as a choleric, and likewise that's what we may ought to be doing. At one moment we have to be outspoken. That is the choleric. These are some of the things that we can just talk about them in brief. They have a lot that defines them as cholerics and other traits, but those are the few we can speak about. We look at their strength, because we've seen what we can see at a person, and we now define that, when you try to see out of these traits, when you try to see in a person some of these traits, then you get to know that now this person is a choleric. Now what strength, what is he good at? These guys always a vision, because they have that visionary mind. Then they are always looking at big things, big pictures. So if you want to have something big drawn, have a choleric person. He'll always have that big image for you that you may need. And then if you want leaders, a choleric person is a good leader. They have that leadership skill inbuilt in them. Why? They can have a certain group controlled under their commands. They can have a certain group of people following them, because what they decide can be followed up by what? By others. We're trying to get something. And they are good instant problem solvers because of their quick thinking over a certain what? Situation. So I think we are trying to see their strength. And they are persistent when they are doing something because they are goal oriented. They are going to follow that to achieve a certain what?
Because they are seeing
they have a big vision. They have a vision of what they want. And they, because of looking at big pictures, they have a goal they want to achieve at the end of the day. So they're going to be persistent to see that they achieve what they want, what they need to get. Are we together at that? And for them to achieve all that they want, they're going to be resourced. They have all the content you need. They can go ahead to read, to compare what other people are doing, what can be done. So they are going to have at least all views looked at to see that they achieve what they want. As what? Cholerics. That is their strength. And they are self-reliant. They know once I decide I can say, and I know what I've decided I can live on it. Even if others don't want and have seen it. Now try to imagine some leaders we have in church. You can begin with church. Some could be of this. Even among us, you can say, hey man, this MGT or this MG is choleric in terms of the way they do perform. And they are always positive at what they believe anything can be done. So they have that positive mind, the cholerics. They have a positive mind. They believe if we begin on something, it can be done up to what? Up to the end. And they are inspiring. Because somebody sees them doing something with all the energy, with all the zeal they have, then they can inspire someone to be like them. Together. Those are some of the strengths of this what? The cholerics. I don't know how can we are we able to understand what we're talking about? You know, not everyone can be good at all things. We all have what challenges us. So under their struggles, they are overly aggressive or competitive. That aggressive nature makes them not liked by the society at times, and is now seen as a what? As a weakness. That then they have a black and white mentality. Black and white mentality whereby because they think things cannot be changed, but they know rules are what? Rules can be broken, but they believe what they've decided is final. Then that is always a weakness to them. That they believe only what they do is what can push them to do whatever they feel can be done. They do not have that room for change, that we can have your idea changed at a certain period of time. You get it? And that creates now what we call arrogance among them. That arrogance created among these people is not good, and people don't want them. You get it? And they are good at bulldozing or dissenting people's ideas. They believe other people cannot tell them anything. They are the only ones deciding, and they feel their decisions are what? Are final. And now when they are presented an idea, then they will always throw it in. They just consider it as trash. And people don't like that. We get. They want a situation whereby accept all ideas and harmonize in terms of understanding all. But these guys, their weakness is, I've told you to come at 8. You tell me to come at 9. Say, you come at 8, you don't want, stay. But I've told you I want you to be at church at 8. Try to identify some people and how can you relate with them. I know we have those leaders, but at the end of the day, you'll appreciate that however much as my leader is a choleric, is weak at this, how can I relate with that person? So they are workaholic. They like overworking. These guys, they don't even need help. They can decide if it is moving these chairs outside. They can decide to do it single-handed, minus any help. And they still need more work to be done by themselves. So that their weakness, because of being workaholic, they may not even need help. They may assume that they can do everything on their what? On their own, which is not good. Some people need to help you out, but if you ignore their help, then also sit back. Get? And because of their traits still, the choleric, they may end up being manipulative because of the commands, whatever they do. They tend to push a person to do or to perform what they want. So they, in the way of their lifestyle, they can now tend to be manipulative. You can find yourself following what they want and doing the same because they've either created a situation of fear in you or a point of view saying, if I don't do this, this might happen. So they've now manipulated your mind that you are going to be a yes person to this person. At one point you may need to say, you said yes, you want this, but me have disagreed. You get? So these people, they will say, if I want this to be done, you either do it or you do it. You get? So you're going to find yourself, by all means, bambi ngochikoze kitegedde. And they're impatient. That's another bad bit of these guys. They are impatient. Why are they impatient?
They have the time. They want to accomplish what they want. Then they have the picture of what they want, and it's not coming the way they want.
So all that pushes them to be what? Impatient. They believe because I want it to be like this, any change is wasting my time. You're going to find most of these guys are going to get mistakes. But then when they try to go back and say, I wish I had thought about this, it wouldn't have what happened. But amidst all those weaknesses, somebody has been able to realize their strength. Now, if you're a choleric, or if you try to look at yourself and you have these traits, these struggles, these strengths, try to imagine, how can I be able to do what? To relate with others. And how can I be able to associate with others? And what can I do to be able to live along with other people? You get it?